But it's important to note that the physical, visual manifestation of these entities, according to John, is that they are frog-like. Note he doesn't say they were frogs, which would suggest that they were symbolic of some other kind of being. Instead, John says they were like frogs. This seems to imply that these beings had a frog-like appearance and or behavior. This makes it pretty clear that these beings are not human. I say this as there are some who suggest that these spirits that John sees refer to false prophets and teachers who are very similar to the typical people we see today spreading false doctrine and damnable heresies. I don't believe these entities are your typical false teachers who look like regular human beings, for John says these three spirits are like frogs. And again, that seems to imply they have a frog-like appearance and or a behavior. Mainly, I believe what John was seeing was what we would refer today as alien grays. And when I speak of alien grays, I'm not implying that I believe there are aliens that have evolved on other planets that will come to the Earth in the future. However, I do believe there are aliens in the sense of entities that pose as aliens from other planets. But in reality, they are just demons who can either manifest themselves in physical form or they have possessed a pre-existing body that has been engineered for them. It appears that the physical form these entities will have will be frog-like. And this is one of the reasons why I believe these three entities are alien grays. It's because of the many similarities the alien grays have with frogs. For example, consider that frogs and grays both have big heads and big, bulgy, wraparound eyes. They have a very small nose, or just two slits for a nose, and they have tiny ears with no lobes, skinny arms, skinny webbed fingers, fingertips with round pads or bulbs on the end of them. Also, both alien grays and frogs have no visible distinguishable genitalia. They also both have permeable skin. The frog's skin can exude certain toxic substances which help to keep the skin moist and protect it from bacteria and can help them escape from the grasp of predators. And also grays supposedly can excrete foul substances through their skin which can give them a foul odor, which is something people have testified of who have encountered them. But in addition to similarities in appearance, there are similarities in behavior between these frogs and alien grays. Consider that both frogs and grays can appear somewhat friendly and harmless, but they can also be very deadly. Although a frog might not seem like much of a threat at first, one might even consider having a frog as a pet. But note that frogs can be very dangerous. They can strike and attack extremely quickly. They can kill and eat not only flies, but some frogs can eat small birds. But note that certain frogs have the potential to kill human beings. One of the top 10 most dangerous animals in the world is the golden poison dart frog. This frog is about 2 inches long and has enough poison in it that it can supposedly kill 10 grown men. So again, frogs can seem harmless, but they can also be very deadly. Likewise, the alien grays may, like a little frog, appear to be friendly and harmless. Sometimes they are portrayed in this way in many movies and cartoons. It's likely when some of them will appear on the world scene, they will try to convince people they pose no danger to humanity, that they come in peace to help mankind. They will likely try to appear as intelligent, advanced beings of light as they speak to the kings of the earth and the peoples of the world. Like false prophets often do, they will try to portray themselves in such a way to gain people's trust, that they might have their ideas and words received by the hearts of the multitudes. But the fact is, these beings will be incredibly deadly and poisonous as they seek to seduce and spread lies to the world about the Antichrist and the true Christ himself. Also consider the fact that the main way in which a frog attacks is by means of its tongue. When it spots something it wants to eat, such as a fly, will thrust out its sticky tongue incredibly fast and grab its victim and bring it back into its mouth where it will be devoured. And similar to the frog, the primary means by which the grays will attack would seem to be by means of their tongues as they teach damnable blasphemous ideas. Like frog, they will dart their tongues out, so to speak, in order to grab a hold of their prey. And the prey is the hearts and the minds of the world. They want to grab their trust in order to seduce them away from the truth about Yeshua, which will result in them ultimately being devoured and destroyed. Also consider that most frogs are nocturnal, that is, they are creatures that are active in the night. But also these frog-like beings John speaks of are creatures of the darkness as well. They're obviously beings of spiritual darkness, but it seems they are beings that will likely be active during physical darkness as well, for they appear to arrive on the scene after the fifth vial is poured out, which results in the seed of the beast and his kingdom being full of darkness. Also consider that both frogs and grays have a powerful voice. Although they are relatively small, frogs can be extremely loud. At night they can make a piercing sound which is very hard to ignore. So it is that grays will have a powerful voice during the period of great spiritual darkness, or nighttime of the earth, which is the tribulation. Not so much that the volume of their voice will be necessarily loud, but that their voices will be powerful in the sense that it will obtain the attention of the very kings of the whole world and actually convince them to marshal their forces together to fight against Yeshua himself. These are just some of the many similarities between frogs and alien greys. And certainly, in light of all these similarities, if John did see these greys in his vision and understood something of their nature, it is very understandable why he would say they were like frogs. John was being shown a vision of creatures he had likely never seen before, and he wanted to convey something of their nature to us. And he did so by comparing them to a creature he knew many, if not all of his readers would be familiar with, namely the frog.